fucking improve everything.
We're live, by the way.
New
that is a hot way
fuckingness,
to
new
go.
features that you take liberal white Karens, and then you do this. I need that. And then you got the East Indians that want to fuck them, and then they.
I updated the windows, sir. I updated the windows.
The big boobies.
want to fuck them, and then they.
Now I hear something back. What did you do?
Someone turn off their YouTube
Channel.
Who's got YouTube on in the background? I don't.
Not me.
No, man.
Check.
1, 2 AIDS, mule semen. Nuke's monetization is already gone. Cappy in the first 30 seconds.
I didn't know we were live. So.
You don't care. Hey, you're quarter chosen people. We're safe. We're safe. He's quarter chosen people. Hey.
Oh boy. Quarter Jordanian. That's awesome.
Yeah, Cappy's quarter
Jordanian. Start it
Jordanian.
over again? I mean, no joke. Do you want to just redo it?
No, man.
No.
Now we can't hear Nuke.
Now we can't hear Nuke.
No, sorry, I muted myself. But yeah, tech stuff. Am I right? I use AI to figure out my tech, like to troubleshoot my tech stuff, and it's pretty good.
Really?
Because I'm not gonna like read through manuals. Yeah, I go to Grok and I just say, hey, I'm having trouble with this thing, and this is not connecting to this, and it's like, okay, well, let's begin. And it gives you like the steps to do it. I'm like, I like idiocracy. I'm having to think less and less every day.
It's
awesome.
Kind of crazy. I'm kind of like coming around to AI a little bit. I'm starting to use it for like thumbnails and stuff like that. But I see people using it for like research. So basically, they'll use AI to kind of sum up stuff. But I still think there's deficits in that where like you could still get some BS in there. Like when I was trying to make a band picture of my bandmates and have all of us on like the Guns N' Roses cross, and it could not do it for the life of itself. So there's still some deficits, but it does seem to be like a tool, but it shouldn't be. It should be used as like a guideline or like a tool rather than like gospel. You know what I mean,
dude?
Yeah, I don't use it for images.
Grok will be the new therapist. Nuke has proven that this past week. Grok will be the new therapist. Holy
new Google.
Oh, that's
it's a good way to keep women entertained and out of our spaces. Just give them a hey, babe, try this therapy prompt, and they'll be there for 2 hours. I promise. That thing that I showed you guys, use it on your girl, and your girl will leave you alone for a whole afternoon. It's fucking awesome. They'll be like, "Oh my god, I didn't know this about myself. Oh my, wow, really?" And then they'll talk your ear off later, and you're just be like, "Wow," and they're gonna think you're this like really clairvoyant, understanding kind of man, and it's just like, no, it's just I got this thing from Instagram and it's keeping you busy so I can do stuff.
But you got that off Insta? You really got that on Insta? Nah.
That kind of sounds like girl game applied to women. You know what I mean? Like you're giving them something so that way they could talk and you could just.
Jack Welcome to the red pill.
Yeah, Jack was just saying it last night about how people love to talk about themselves, and that's definitely a way.
Yeah. It's like, what was it again? Female sexual strategy applied to male sensibility. That's what most of all this is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, it even got Cappy laid. At least he says.
Wow. Well,
yeah,
I've been looking back at how I got laid, and
we're surprised too.
Anyway. Penis jokes aside, Jack, I look back and it's kind of like, wow, it's exactly because of this, and this, because of all the academic study and research we did. But you almost didn't know it you had an idea, you had a sense like, okay, I'm a really good dancer and I'm dancing and I'm like teaching classes, but I didn't realize how much situational alpha, and I was going through literally hundreds of women a week through classes and courses, and that environment definitely boosted the chances. But you almost arrogantly think it has something to do with you, like, oh, I'm just great and these girls like me. It's like, no,
we're not going to mention the $200 that was missing from your bank account every night.
That too. Hey, the skids need to be greased, man. The palms need to be slapped. Okay, that's
I hear you. But did you ever meet Roosh?
No, we've passed very closely in the night a handful of times because he was in Rapid City. He used to even think about living there, and they went back to take care of his family, but just never met up. I mean, we still, I think, have each other's email, and I've said, hey, if you're ever in town, let me know. But it would be kind of cool to meet him.
Yeah, I mean, he is on Bachelor Pad Economics, right? And he's the guy on the front. Yeah, that was based on him.
Yeah, there's a bunch of notable early aughts people on that book.
Nick Krauser.
Speaking of economics,
You know,
that's basically today's topic: is how the red pill keeps your finances stable and increases them and all that stuff. And in light of the recent economic uncertainty that everyone's feeling this week, I just wanted to talk about how the red pill and taking it and understanding it will keep your finances safe, at least to a reasonable extent. It's not going to make you rich, right? You have to go out and do something yourself. But the whole world, just like the whole world has taught you that your sacrifice, you should live your life sacrificing for others and forget about yourself. That also requires money too, right? Like when they say sacrifice, they mean your time, which time is very valuable. There's nothing you can't really buy time. You can't get it back. And there's also like your labor, your hard-earned cash, your stocks, your whatever, right? Your future ability to make money, right?
I wish there
So
was someone
once you
on this
take the
panel
red,
who knew something about that.
yeah, someone wrote a couple books about this, and yeah, I wonder who that could be. Some guy that
Yeah.
hikes in Nebraska and all that stuff. Have you guys heard of
Nebraska,
that guy?
what? It's,
He loves Minneapolis. It's his favorite place in the world.
yeah.
He goes there all the time. He never talks bad about Minneapolis. But I wanted to, for the guys, there's a lot of drama going on in whatever niche or manosphere you're in. But one of the most important things about your life is like your money, because it's your time, it's your effort, it's your pain, your sacrifice. Like I fell from a ladder 2 weeks ago, and that kind of put a lot of things in perspective in terms of like every guy thinks they're invincible until they suffer a work injury or a car accident or whatever. So you got to think, okay, what is this all for? And what am I getting out of this? Right. So I want to hit it off to you guys. How has the red pill saved you money? Right. And we'll start with Jack and we'll just go Cappy and then Kyle and then.
So how TRP directly helped me save money is it taught me that I don't need to spend money on dates to get the girl. That's the big one.
Okay, that's a really good
it
one,
really
yeah.
taught me that girls were out there for just sex and I didn't need to take them out or anything. They were just like, oh, you're hot. You want to come by or can I come by to you? And they show up. I gave them coffee from my coffee maker, which is like, what, 10 cents or whatever. And we would get going. And I've had relationships like that. And they were very long-term relationships like that. So that was the biggest thing for me when it came to saving money, that it taught me that I do not require to take girls out on actual dates.
You don't need a Bugatti, is what you're saying.
No, you don't.
You don't need like one of the big things we talk about is like don't take a girl on a dinner date. That just why, like there's so many reasons not to.
So many girls who were open to me going to their place right away or were happy to go to my place just on the first date. It's just how you put it. That was the big one. And of course, like later on, it's like, okay, what do you do with all that spare money? Well, then you get more into investing because of course, I hate to fluff this man to the left.
Boy, you guys are gonna have to sing my praises for
I
predicting this
kind of
shit
fucking-
15 years. You
We're
guys
gonna
are gonna
Cappy glazing.
this quarter Jordanian here. So when you get into TRP, you get into the name Aaron Clary, and he talks about minimalism. And then he talks about what do you do with all that money? And he talks boring conservative investing. And I got to say that boring conservative investing in the long run, I mean, that's how you get there. It just takes so much stress off of your back where it's like, you know what? I have this emergency fund of, I don't know, a year, something like that.
Nice.
Just because I did minimalism and I invested in just your boring old S&P 500. This is not financial advice. Absolutely not. But, and now you can just relax. Boring, top of the mill investing advice every now and then later on. I recommend going to Cultivate Crypto and Miguel from Dollar Cost Crypto. Those two are very, very well educated in crypto if you're interested in that. But things like that, because of the connections I made in this space and the connections the authors and bloggers made before me in this space, I was able to save a shit ton of money, not just on dating, but on overall expenses as well finding out that girls really don't require much from a man anymore since they can bring home their own bacon. If you, as a guy, the meme, right? The meme, guys can live like this and think there's nothing wrong with it. You can perfectly live like that and you can still get laid. You really can. Really can. Plus, you save so much on overall expenses. If you actually live to your means to your needs instead of your means. You know what I mean? Instead of your wants. You can just save so much and you can do way longer with your money. Like way longer. Months on end. If you would want to. So that's kind of how it helped me. But for the rest, Aaron Clary really sucks. He likes fossil hunting and hiking. He's such a boring boomer. Love you, Cappy.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah. Good night, everyone. Hey, so Cappy, you're pretty much, this is your wheelhouse. So how has taking the red pill made your life economically better?
It would have been the reverse. Studying economics made me more red pill. The way it's made me better, and it's not because I was in the day, I wasted tremendous amounts of time, money, and resources on girls, as every young man is biologically programmed to do. It was having that philosophy that made me focus on economics and take a measurement and figure out, okay, well, how much are we spending? And so I think it's made other people's lives better because we're starting to realize just how much money and time and resources we spend on chasing girls without a proper rate of return, without any success. And especially when you're younger, it's that time. It's realizing the only thing you have as a young man. I mean, you're really presented a fork in the road. Do you want to spend it chasing girls, going to a nightclub, doing what they say they want you to do, all this other stuff? Or do you want to invest it in yourself and improve yourself? And little does everyone say, that path is not going to get the girls. Chasing them does not get the girls. You need to go and make sure you have a successful, stable, enjoyable, rewarding life. And then girls down the road will be attracted to that. And I think that's probably the biggest benefit we've gotten in terms of money and the red pill is convincing young men, no, don't be wasting your time on dating apps. Don't be wasting your time on this or that. You should be going to the gym. You should be having some kind of career plan, some kind of trade and all that. And then after you get stable, maybe you own a piece of property, whatever else, then you could go ahead and start looking for the girls. Also, as Jack pointed out, what society has traditionally told us to get the girls, how you pursue them, no, that doesn't work. Or at least you do not need to be spending money on dates. The number one thing is to go to the gym. That is the number one thing. And that, okay, a gym membership in your time, right? That's how you get the girls. But this whole be nice, get a master's degree, all these freaking hoops that are a tremendous and expensive cost. That is where we've saved a lot of time. We're like, no, that's not it. Then the second place you save a tremendous amount of money is, I think the red pill has done an outstanding job of exposing marriage for the absolute shit financial proposition that it is. And a lot of men are avoiding that or taking measures to protect their assets, because there you look at, there's a direct financial transaction, whether it's alimony, a settlement, or what have you. So I think the red pill has done a tremendous job for younger men in saying, hey, there's way more. You do not have time to be wasting your time chasing girls in these outdated, obsolete fashions. But it's also made men much more street smart and educated about the financial risks of marriage. And so it didn't benefit me so much because I was old. I am old. But the younger people it has, because we're starting to be able to put dollar signs and prices associated with pursuing the opposite sex. And now men are starting to wake up like, wow, this isn't worth it, or I must change my tactics. So I think that's been kind of my observation of how the red pills saved a lot of men a lot of time and money.
Okay. Kyle, how has the red pill improved your finances?
I'd like to actually piggyback off what Cappy said there, where he was mentioning he kind of laid out frame there in so many words, where he was like, okay, so you basically establish, buy yourself a house, go to the gym, make a life that makes you desirable, and then you can start worrying about women afterwards. Because if you do it backwards, like you hear about these guys who move to their girls' college, which right there, that's a bad financial decision. Because what happens if you two break up? Okay, well, now you're way out here, you're fucked, you're probably thrown out of her apartment or something like that. If you have your own house, if you already have a gym schedule and all this, then it's like, okay, well, if she leaves, then I still have what I need. I can still do whatever I want. But also to Jack's point a little bit, he brought up sort of like social circle game about how you don't necessarily need to go spend a shitload of money to go on a date. If you have friends that own a bar or something like that, or you frequent a bar and the people know you there, then I mean that gives you ups right there, because you go in there, you know what you want to drink, you bring a friend with you, or you bring a date with you, and then they realize, hey, this person's someone that people like. It confirms in their mind that, hey, this is someone that's trustworthy because they have rapport with other people. So I don't know it's necessarily like a financial thing, but it's more to the point of having frame, and also kind of ways to go about dating in a cheaper, more efficient way. So, and something that Jack said a while back, probably one of the first times that we talked, is that like the stay plan is the same as the go plan, where
Quote to Ryan.
okay, there you go. Okay, yeah, credit to Ryan then. There is no necessarily like quick path to getting rich. Sometimes it is just the boring old stuff of just being frugal, looking at investments that are smart. Like I'm super into like mining and gold stocks and stuff like that, which isn't as sexy as like these some of these pump and dump crypto coins, which are some good crypto investments. I'm not a crypto guy, but stuff like that. Even Sunoco, which sounds basic, but I mean that's just stuff that you could safely bet on and just put a little bit of money in every here and there and watch it grow over time. And yeah, there may be some dips as we've seen this past week, but that's not indicative of like a long-term trend. Or as people will say, when Bitcoin dips in price, Bitcoin's on sale. So, the sexy stuff, when you hear people talking about these pump and dumps, e-girl or hawk to a coin, could you make a buck on it? Sure, but it's a high risk asset. You just got to look at stuff like Jack said, S&P 500, like I'm talking about, gold, mining stocks, stuff that's cheap, but is probably going to increase in value because
how is gold doing anyway now?
Gold just hit a record high this past week.
Really? Against everything else?
Yeah, I think it went to 30. I haven't really watched it too closely, but I think it went up to like 3,500. I think
Is it because of economic uncertainty?
Yeah, gold always it's a pretty safe bet. You're not going to get rich off gold, but you'll keep the wealth that you have by investing in gold. That's more of the way to look at. Okay, yeah, $3,100 an ounce. Thanks, Guitars and Adam. Yeah, I knew it was over 3,000, but for the longest time, I think like pre-2020, it was sitting around like 1,800 to 1,900, and then recently it's gone up.
So. Cappy, real quick, checking his portfolio. Like, can I leave these losers yet?
I did. My silver went down by like 4%. Like, what the hell's going on with silver? Yeah. Why is silver not going down?
Like, Cappy, can I ask? Like, with the whole everything plummeting right now, which was to be expected. I'm not an American, so take my opinion with a grain of salt. I think Trump just popped the bubble where it's like, yeah, this is all fucked. Here you go. Now it's time for pain. What are you looking into anyway? Still like
me?
Index funds? Yeah.
Yeah, here's. Kyle said it best. Investing is boring. Any long-term progress and excellence is boring. This is why you got two types of guys where it's flash in the castle. I'm going to lease a car, bro. Look at me. And that might fool some girls temporarily, especially you have drugs that you can give them. I don't mean like to seduce them. I mean like, oh my God, everyone loves the guy who brings cocaine to the party. That type of shit, that's temporary. Long-term, right now, millennial girls, albeit they're in their 40s, they're like, oh my God, now they're really interested in a guy who has a house. The boring financial stuff is longer. Going to the gym, right? It takes about 6 months to get noticeable. And that it's a marathon. And I know people don't like to hear it. It's boring. But you know who doesn't do the boring shit? Low value men. That's it. Low value people don't do the boring shit. They don't do the dieting. It's always a quick thing. It's always an Ozempic and all that. So when it comes to investing, yeah, this is especially for younger. If you're a boomer, fuck you. I don't care. But for younger people, this is great. You want these prices to be going down because you don't really probably have a position or 401k or an IRA. And right now, what should be happening if we trained young people to have the slightest bit of financial acumen, which we don't, we teach them, oh my God, hey, white people, that's, oh my God, that's the most important thing. But if you, right now, if financial firms were intelligent, they'd be advertising to young people like, now is the time. Stocks are off by what? It's 10, 15% right now. I'd have to take a look. My silver is down. A lot of assets are coming down in price, and that's good for young people. And you may want to, it could go down further. Don't forget, oh my God, Cappy said to buy now. I didn't say that. I said it's 15% off right now from its highest price. Now would be the time to start looking at setting up an IRA and a 401k. And you know what? I never got laid once telling a girl, I set up my SEP IRA. I set up my IRA account. I contributed. No one gives a shit. I even remember I used to do finance classes as well. I remember a long time, Mankato, Minnesota. I was doing a stock valuation course. It was rather intense. It was 8 hours long. And there's this cute little blonde number in my course. And I'm like, oh man, well, we got a break, I'm going to chat her up. And I'm on fire. Like, I'm good at what I do. And the girl left at the first break. She didn't come back. Girls don't give a shit. Who was it? There's a bald Canadian who's practically blind. I don't know if something Looper.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about it.
He said something about girls aren't there with you on the marathon. They wait at the finish line.
Yeah,
and that's more or less the truth. It'd be great if girl came along, but you got to run the marathon. And so and this applies to so many other things in life. It's not just girls, it's health, it's your finances, it's your career. Like, yeah, it's going to be a long, hard drag to go get your CPA. That's basically a master's degree and some testing, or go into medical school or become a dentist. That's a long, hard slog. But all of a sudden you're 26 and you're set for life, at least in all these other categories. And then you significantly increase your chances on getting the girls. If by that point you're like, here's another thing people don't talk about it. You know what people who run marathons tend to do?
Train.
They tend to enjoy running. They tend to have a hobby afterwards. And it's the same thing. If you invest, if you go to the gym, if you develop these healthy habits, you start to have opportunity costs and hobbies you enjoy. And then when Bipsy McGee comes along, and you're like, oh my God, I know she's pretty, but her words are hurting my brain. You start to have standards, because it's like, I could be doing anything else. I could be hiking. I could be motorcycle riding. I could be wrenching on cars as Kyle does. I could be jerking off to gay Nebraska like Jack does. There's a lot of opportunity costs people have. And that if you're a successful man. So this goes well beyond attracting girls in the long term and more permanently.
That's why I like working out so much. That taught me so much about the compound effect. Like, progressive overload is the compound effect. And for people who don't know what the compound effect is, it's kind of like the snowball effect, that no matter how much progress you make, every little bit of progress added up is still progress over a certain amount of time. So with like training, let's say you do 2 pounds per week on your squat. That's still like 8 pounds per month. 2 months, 16 times 12 is 80.
It's a
the drills. Yeah, it's 96 pounds per year on your squat. Now, I'm not saying it always goes like that, because like it's not completely linear, but apply that to investing. Let's say you put in $10 a week in the S&P 500. That's $40 a month, a year. Do that for I don't know how many years, and you've got a nice little nest egg.
I would even also say, Kyle, you're the only one that's married here, right? Okay. Do you miss chasing girls?
Sometimes, honestly.
Sometimes. Okay. I do not. I look back at all the time I wasted, where you'll go to a nightclub or you go to a house party or you go on a date and it went nowhere. That, especially guys my age, we look back at that and like, man, I wasted so much time. That is the big regret that I can't convey to young people. Like, you got to waste that time to regret it. But if you can avoid that, no joke, my buddy, he's a carpenter. He's like, I could have built 2 houses with the amount of time I wasted on girls. What's the value of 2 houses today right now, Scott?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm like, I could have gotten a PhD or something else. That's the real warning, and I think the red pill succeeds in warning men about, is I don't think boys today are going to nightclubs or chasing after the girls, but they at least kind of know, yeah, the rate of return wasn't there. They can make a more astute cost benefit analysis, therefore a better economic decision whether they want to chase these. And they're not. We start to see the data, and it's coming in that they're not. And then I also think that they're not ruining the opportunity cost. They don't know, like, I wonder what was going to happen. Maybe Becky would have gone to the dance. No, Becky wasn't going to go to the dance with you.
Becky's a whore.
Well, some go that extreme too. But I think men have a much more accurate and reasoned assessment of the chances, and are therefore making much more wise investments with their time. I think they could be a little more optimistic where they give up totally, where we're not saying abandon girls in total. And I wish they'd be a little bit more optimistic, if I dare use that word, where, okay, why don't you quickly ask out this girl? But in terms of tactics and techniques that do not consume ridiculous amounts of time and resources. So knowing, like, yeah, we're going to a coffee date. I am going to ask this girl out in person because it's quick, it's easy, and it's fast. And I'm going to go to this cafe where I'm going to do work anyway. And if the girl shows up, cool. I think that's a positive, optimized dating strategy now that saves the vast majority of men's time, money, and resources. And then also they're not, when how many of you guys been stood up? You've been stood up for a date?
Oh,
okay.
All guys have, yeah.
Okay. At the beginning, did you feel bad? Like, oh my God, what did I do? Yeah. Okay. They don't have that anymore. Right.
No.
So there's a lot of progress being made. I just wish that, don't give up on girls. Give up on the old, outdated ways in which you pursue them. Chase them much more intelligently and frugally with your time, money, and resources. But yeah, there's definitely been some progress being made here.
Yeah,
and that's just going off of like what Jack was saying. Like a lot of guys, the old order thinking, right, where you have to give women flowers, you have to give, and you're just constantly giving, and you realize, like, what do I get out of this? And that's like men's epiphany, like their midlife crisis, is they're like, hey, I've worked my whole life and I finally can get the things that I want. Was it really worth it to sacrifice so much for others? Like, am I happy? And then, obviously society, women will be like, that's childish that you want to buy a motorcycle at 40 or 50. And I'm like, no, you have decided that you are now have the money to get the things that you want. And that's another thing. Like, imagine a lot of guys want women, right? They want, and they don't, men are rational creatures. We think, okay, we want an if then statement, right? So if I give women this, then I get sex, or I get a relationship or intimacy, right?
contracts.
So when guys go out, that's why, like, they like this red pill manosphere stuff, because a lot of guys give them the if then statement. But I tell them, like, look, dude, it is kind of an if-then statement, but before that, it's a numbers game, right? And what we're trying to do here is not trying to get a perfect outcome, because that's impossible. What we're trying to do is save you guys time, money, headache, and your dignity most of all. And that is what men don't realize, that a lot of men think they have to sacrifice their dignity, their money, their time, their labor in order to get women, right? And that's already putting women on a pedestal, right? And you'll realize too, and a lot of young guys don't understand this, there's going to be a point where a girl cancels on you, and you're going to be like, oh, thank God, she just saved you from spending $90 or $100 on drinks. An afternoon you could have spent with your dog, watching anime, playing video games, or just doing whatever the fuck you want to do. And that's because you finally learned that your time is worth more than spending it on someone that doesn't really like you that much. And most women don't like you that much.
Let me interject. This is very important. But you mentioned the time. That's what this is. Gentlemen, let's take your average 20-year-old male in the United States, and he is paid, I believe it was $15 an hour. I ran the figures. Let's say he's living at home, tax rates, blah, blah, blah. He gets to take about 13 of that home. If he throws it in the S&P 500, do you know how much he's going to have by the time he reaches retirement age? Do you know what that 1 hour in opportunity costs men?
No.
You talked about this on a show recently. I
talked about it.
Yeah, 40K. More? I don't know.
40K. No,
No.
that's not that. No, it's not. It's not that bad. It's $400, like 415, 420, or something like that.
God damn.
And yeah, and what I want to point out is when you're a young man, even if you are financially savvy, you say, "Well, I'm only making $13 an hour back home, so it might be worth my time." No, because it's your opportunity cost. That's if you just left it in the bank to eat away at inflation. If you were to throw that into some kind of investment, now no guarantee, but compound then you're 65. That's $400 adjusted for inflation. And that's where men really got to value their time right now, because a young man, your value is not now, it's your future. It's what you could do. And you need to invest your money in your future, not gamble on a chance a girl's going to touch your peen with the boobies.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You take the money, invest in yourself, learn to wrench on cars. Here's another, let me give you another example of tremendous opportunity cost. You go and you're going to waste, let's say, 10 hours a week chasing after girls in a traditional way. Let's say you start at 16, okay, and you go up to 26, 8 hours a week. Do you think you could build a house in that decade?
Yeah.
Yes. We are talking tremendous cost. Your value as a young man is not in the present. It is in your future. You need to invest in your future. And that is the true opportunity cost of chasing girls. I'll give you, how many ways do you want to skin this cat? Why do doctors, surgeons, and very rich people pay for professional ladies? Why?
Because it saves time.
It saves time. They don't have time.
Efficiency.
They do not have time to go talk to a girl, have her not show up, do that 10 times over for one of them to get laid. They do not have the time. Here's your $2,000. Show up. Now go away.
How good of a hooker do you get for $2,000? Jesus. That
Dude,
must be an amazing experience.
Dude,
Better be swinging off the chandeliers.
That's
damn.
That's average. I thought it was like 500 for average. And then
She better help me move furniture or something. Hold my tools while working.
Whoa.
Yeah. More ways than one.
At least out here, I guess 2,000 is like the average going rate.
So in the Netherlands, the meme is $50.
Okay, well, things are different because it's legal out there. Here, it's mostly illegal, and you got to fly and all. But even then, let's say, okay, it could be $4,000 an hour. Do you think a surgeon has the at least 15 hours of free time it takes to go and date a bunch of gals, let alone the patience, as say some 45-year-old successful doctor? Do you think that guy has the mental patience and the time patience to go and date some 27-year-old girly girls just to get laid one night? Or is it like, no, I don't have time for this. Here's the money. Now go away.
Well, and then also you got to think about, if you're kind of waiting out there, there's still the possibility that she could say no after you do everything. And most guys, are kind of running through covert contracts when you go on a date. If I buy her dinner and I treat her nice, then I'll get sex, right? For guys like that are super busy, that's, why would you want to waste your time and potential when it's like, okay, I could just, buy the cow real quick and then move on. Nuke, I know you wanted to get the super chats. There was the $5 one that I wanted to address. If you don't mind, I'll read it for you.
Okay. We got super chat. Let's start with the $2 one first, because that's chronological. That was first. And then... Okay, so Gene Semler Rose with the $2. I like to buy my stock on sale. Yeah, it's a good time to buy stocks.
There you go.
Like, why not?
Yeah,
especially if you're not
better
very
than 2
familiar.
days.
Yeah. All right, and we got that $5. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree. My time with women educated me to know women. That extra money would not teach me that lots of money, no game is an easy prey. I kind of have to disagree with this guy here, because you're kind of putting women at the center here. Like, why are you really concerned about knowing more about women in this respect? Like, why not focus on finances, fitness, and stuff like that? And then they'll come after that. Like, do you see what I'm kind of getting at there, where he's kind of making women the focus here?
I understand, but I have to disagree with you disagreeing.
Okay.
because how you need experience. Like, we could talk about how to box or jujitsu all day. You need to get on the mat and roll around. I think every man should at least go and try and date girls traditionally, or some, however they want 6 months to a year, one to get over approach anxiety and stuff like that. But so you know,
Oh
like,
yeah, of course.
Kyle, do you got kids?
I got one on the way.
You got one on the way. Like, give that kid books all you want. He's gonna have to go out, or she's gonna have to go out and experience whatever it is. That's the problem with wisdom, is you could have made these mistakes. They're still gonna try it. So I think, just so men know, if for any other reason to satiate that curiosity, like, oh, but maybe I'll be lucky at a nightclub. Like, yeah, no, go have them go to the nightclub.
No, go to a nightclub for like for 3 months and see how your health and your money and your time is actually exhausted, and then you'll learn. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I had a little streak when I was like 21, 22, where I went to a bar like every single day for a couple weeks straight. And then I thought about it and I'm like, I just wasted so much time and money where I could have did so many better things.
Dude, the most I went to a bar was 4 nights in a row, and after that I was just, can I just stay home? I just want to stay home. I just want to watch film. This is Jesus fucking Christ. Like I said, but like, because I never had a hard time getting a girlfriend in like high school and after high school, but they wanted to go out more than I wanted to. But because, you know, barely any frame, of course. Okay, I'll go out with you. And then at a certain point, we have this festival over here where I live. And it was 4 days of partying in a row. And I look at her, I'm like, why can't we just stay home and watch a fucking film? For the love of God. But I mean, like I said, like we mentioned before, at a certain point you get at an age, you wish she cancels. You wish. It's like, please, let me be able to stay home and play video games.
Or if you have a girlfriend, you wish like, hey, my friends are actually wanting to do this thing. I'll see you tomorrow. You're just like, oh, thank God. Thank God. Like, here's my thing, right? I think guys should date because in the process, you'll learn that you don't like women as much as you think. You still like them. You don't hate them, but you still kind of you're able to put them in a hierarchy in your life where it's like healthy. Because
below
if you
food, it's like
it's
friends, your family, food, dog,
sleep,
the dog,
sleep,
the dog, Cappy,
fish, Cappy,
Kyle,
work,
Jack,
education, nuke, and then
going to Micro
maybe
Center on Sundays to buy stuff like that, you
IKEA.
know.
Yeah, IKEA, and after that, maybe perhaps is women.
Yeah, you know, ramen, plantains, fried plantains. But the thing is like, yeah, exactly.
That's
but the thing is like, it's like you do it for like mastery, you know, just so you understand what's out there, what you're actually like working for in life, and realizing like how these people can screw you over. You know, like women are great, but like not all the time, and they can screw you over. And here's the thing: women know what they're doing. Social media apps know what they're doing. And I tell guys this, right? And this is if you don't take anything else from this show, take this. You as a man in the West, you are the most vulnerable demographic in the United States. Everyone thinks, oh, but what about violence? I'm like, violence is not that big a deal. Yes, there's tragedies. We just saw a tragedy here in Texas, like up the road. But for the most part, nobody is scared. I see women at night drunk, vulnerable, walking the streets and giggling. Violence is not really that much of a threat, right? It's your sacrifice, your money, your time, your mental health, all that. They want it, right? So when you open Instagram Reels, when you just want to see, like I just look up puppy, you know, Shiba memes and gym stuff and whatever stuff, right? And still, women half naked dancing, trying to market products and their, you know, OnlyFans are on my timeline, right? And I'm just like, they do that because they know that most men are fools, and a fool and his money are easily parted. They are taking advantage of you. And that's why I kind of want to frame it as that, like a girl being into you and wanting to see you and spend $50 of your time and 2 hours, $50 of your money and 2 hours of your time, and you know shows genuine interest. That's not her trying to take advantage of you, right? She's just a girl that's just thinks you're cute, right? But however, most women and most people want to screw you over, right? And it's not always malicious. It's just that society has been taught that your sacrifice is for everyone else but yourself. So you have to give it up. Like, give me your money, give it to me. And whether it be through taxes, blah, blah, blah. Like, who do you think would have been paying for all these abortions if Kamala Harris? It's us, men, because we make all the money, right? It's us, and they're entitled to it, and that's the worst part. People are entitled to your money, and that's why, out of all the things, you have to protect that with your life, because if not, you won't have a life. You'll give everything up, and these people will never be happy.
If there's one thing from Bachelor Pad Economics that till this day I still live by, it's earn as little as possible so you pay as little as taxes as you can, that you can fund these parasites. It's like, yep.
Yeah, I the reason why I've stuck with my accountant ever since I found out who he was from my parents is because when he was doing my taxes, he stopped right in the middle of it. He's sitting there typing away. He asked me if I wanted a beer. So, I mean, that was already like a thumbs up. And then he said, I want to get every single penny out of these motherfuckers that I can. I was like, all right, this is my kind of guy.
You should, and speaking of that, to kill two birds with one stone, this is why you should be looking into things like IRAs, SEP IRAs, because that will lower your taxes, but you should be focusing on your retirement planning well before you are focusing on women. You should, especially younger, if you could start throwing some money into an account, say in your early 20s or late teens, the power compound interest. Like, I would be a millionaire now if I took all the money and time I spent chasing girls and just tossed in the S&P 500. It cannot be emphasized enough what women are costing you. So it would definitely be one of those things where, yes, get your taxes as low as possible, be the center of your own efforts, and just really, like, I think, isn't it kind of more or less now socially acceptable? Like, girls aren't expecting you to take them to dinner. I know there's the TikTok girls and the internet viewers, but for the most part, yeah, we're meeting up for coffee, right? Or we're meeting at a house party, if they even have those anymore. It is not, I don't see men, flowers. When's the last time a guy bought women flowers in America? I mean, it's been a long time. So I think, despite the whining and complaining, men are not expected to be taking these girls on these luxurious dates anymore.
There was something I kind of wanted to touch on lightly. And, for me, getting married was a lifestyle decision. Obviously I gamed around a lot before I met my wife and everything like that. But, a question that guys should always ask themselves is, what do you want out of life? So, like, for me, is Rich Cooper had always said, is that, like, a woman should only be a compliment. Okay, well, my wife kind of takes care of the stuff in the house that I don't like taking care of and I don't have time to take care of. So and once again, this is a big if what you want is a more traditional life, which is what I wanted, then finding a woman that, once again, acts as that complement to your life so you can focus on more of these things is a big deal, and I think goes a long way. It worked out for me, but once again, I'm not here to tell anybody what they should or shouldn't do. But, the question should always be, is what are you looking to get out of all of this?
Yeah, it's interesting because everyone's trying to skirt like where guys are afraid of marriage, right? And for the most part, you kind of should be. I'm not in a neurotic way, but just like, this is something, most important financial decision of your life. And we're all saying, hey, we're not telling you to get married or not to get married, but it's a bad deal, right? And if you're going to go into it, know what you're getting into, right? Whether you got to pay a lawyer or you got to talk to somebody that's not a blue pill beta about like how they made their marriage work or whatever, right? But for the most part, one of the people that are going to really harp on you using your time and money for women are traditional conservatives, right? And that's the red pill exposes these people like on a daily basis. Like we really dislike. Like Charlie Kirk the other day was like, until your wife is able to not work, you shouldn't play video games. And I'm just like, in this economy, like a woman being at home watching the Roomba clean the floor, and you know what I'm saying? Like, go get a work from home job or something.
It's
where you
always in servitude of women. The whole tradcon fantasy is still, even though they are the so-called patriarch, it is still in the service of women. It is topping from the bottom, is what trad wives do. It's like, fuck, why can't these guys get their thick skulls? Can't get that through their thick skulls. Like the wife is still leading the household. If that's your mindset, if your whole existence, its purpose is to get your wife sitting at home being bored while you earn money, you are a loser. You are a moron.
But Steve Crowder was such a success with his family.
And his wife couldn't even clean the dog shit.
Yeah.
And that's the problem here. Like a couple people that are competent, men and women, will figure it out. They're just like, hey, I'll get a job. Oh, no worries, whatever. I'll be bored, right? And then they're like, I don't want to clean up laundry. And I'm like, if there's a sock on the floor, I don't care whose it is. I just pick it up and put it in the washer. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a big deal. Hey, the dog needs to be walked. I don't care who did it. I'll just go walk the dog. I love my dog. Why wouldn't I want to walk the dog? I want to spend time with my dog.
Like, you remember that video that went viral this past week of that girl complaining, like, I almost divorced my husband, which was absolute garbage. She's not going to divorce her husband. But there was one thing she did address that kind of has to do with frame and all that, is where, and I couldn't blame her for saying this, where she was like, I have to decide everything for my husband. I'm like, yeah, women hate that shit. She's like, he asks me what to eat. He asks me what the kids want for lunch. He asks me what needs to be done in the house. It's like, buddy, if you run a household, you know that shit. You tell your wife what she's going to make for dinner. You tell the kids what they're having for lunch, and you already know what needs to be done in the house because you've already done it, kind of thing. So that was the one thing I couldn't blame her with, where it's like, yeah, most women do not want to be your mommy. They just don't want to be your mom. Like, it's what Nuke just said. Lead by example. If you know the dog needs to be walked, and you know that probably no one did it, you walk it anyway. Maybe you'll complain later, but you do it. Maybe you let it shit on the rug, though, to like rub it in with the people who should be doing it, and then let them clean it too. But simple things like that is lead by example, because you know what that does? And I swear to God, I've had this happen to me with girlfriends, where I vacuum the place. I look at the floor, I'm like, oh, okay, this needs vacuum, and I start vacuuming. Guess what a couple of days she starts doing? She starts vacuuming. You know why? Because she saw I could do it, and she knows she's replaceable. I don't need you. I can do all of this shit perfectly on my own. Yeah. Now you can either help or you can go away.
And you know what some guys do? They get a housemate. They spend money. Again, topic of the show. They spend money to solve problems with women. And I'm like, all you have to do, like, you have your assertive Bill of Rights, you know, where you're allowed to be assertive to women, especially, and they crave it. They don't know that they crave it, but telling women no will save you lots and lots of money. And it increases seduction, right? Like, telling women no will either do two things: turn them on or get them the fuck out of your life. And hey, that's a win-win, because it makes space for another woman, or peace, or an afternoon to yourself, or you get sex. It's just like, telling women no is scary, but once you like understand how it works, you'll be fine. A lot of guys, they just throw more money at the problem. Hey, I don't want to do this. Well, let's get a babysitter. I don't want to do this. Hey, well, let's get a maid. And then they got this spoiled woman living in a McMansion, and they're slaving away. Just like this woman went on TikTok and said, my plumber husband who makes six figures and lets me have all these luxuries, I still don't like him, you know, and I'm going to make a TikTok embarrassing him. All he had to do, that guy, was say, hey, these are your choices. You either clean, do your job, or I'm getting another wife. Like, you know, maybe in a different way, but or like Jack said, start doing everything himself and making her feel like, hey, I really am replaceable. This guy's got it. This guy doesn't need me. He's an adult. You know? And that's what the red pill is.
It's very similar to taking on debt. Now that I think about it, having a roommate, any relationship with a human being, but especially marriage or committed woman in living in your house, it's like having debt. Do you know how to handle it? Do you know to make extra payments? Do you know to accelerate the amortization? Do you know not to piss away money on things you can't afford? And it's the same thing with girls. Like, not telling a girl no, not screening, looking for good terms, making sure this is a liability. Like, you can use debt to help improve your life. Buy a house, for example, make a wise investment and all that. But just think, well, I'll be nice and I'll be Matt Walsh and I'll follow Dennis Prager's advice, thrice divorced. and then things will go well. That's like not making any payments on your debt, and then it just grows exponentially. You really do need to. I know you guys are blind by the testosterone and genetics, and girls are beautiful. It's the number one thing I want in my life, just like a car. It's like, yeah, that's a liability. You really do need to understand and educate yourself about debt. And you also need to educate yourself about having women in your life, like a living matrimonial cohabitating type of thing. And that, I think that's kind of where the red pill comes in, where, yeah, this isn't, it's no different than getting a Ferrari. Oh, that looks so pretty. It's amazing. It's wonderful. Yeah. Okay. There's $300 oil changes, and it's noisy, and you got to fine tune it, and all this other work that comes with it. I think
And it can get stolen
it can
and
get
all that. And vandalized.
Yeah. And it could get
Stay
tattoos
strapped.
and get fat and turn into a dump truck. Yeah, there's a lot of things that can happen. And I think having the street smarts and not this naivete, being educated both in your personal finances and about what it's really like having a woman in your life, that's going to go a long way in improving your personal finances.
Yeah. Like, you need to be economically savvy. You need to understand everything there is about economics, right? But part of that is women, which will be one of your biggest expenses if you're not careful. And I think that every guy should take time to sit down and tell them, like, hey, do I want women, or am I just horny today? Do I want a relationship, or am I just horny? Right? Because relationships are expensive. It doesn't matter how hard the girl works or what her job is. You're still paying that coffee. You're still paying for dinner. Like, very few women are letting their person, like, and that's the problem, right? The whole men got to be traditional, but I don't, right? And men are still shilling out money, their hard-earned money, for women that have jobs and all that stuff. And yeah, I get it. Like, men, we're supposed to be providers. It's within us, right? But at the same time, like, every day or every week there's a new video of some TikTok girl saying, "Hey, I girl bossed all my whole 20s. I need a man to, like, pay for everything now." I'm just like,
Do-
this is
I
the
was gonna
system you
say,
voted for.
do
Yeah,
you,
this is what you want.
if we were to put a final price tag on it, and I ran this in the book of numbers, take a guess, just cash expenditures, what men spend on women chasing them.
Per what?
Cash
Per lifetime?
for a lifetime.
Isn't it
Most of it's going to
200K?
be upfront because you're younger, but take a wild guess.
Isn't it
200K.
like 200K?
265,000, and that's like
Jesus.
years ago. So we're looking at like 300,000 in today's
Yeah,
inflated
probably
money.
350.
Do you know what I can do with 350,000?
Well,
I can
let me tell you
retire in
what,
the Balkans.
let me tell you what you can do. If you took all that money, tossed it to the S&P 500, blah, 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 you'd have 9.6 million. Men literally spend their lives. We're not talking cheap money here, boys. We're talking your entire life. Luke is right to have this topic here. It is almost going to cost you your entire financial life and resources for you to poorly and unintelligently pursue. We're not saying don't pursue women.
Yeah.
We're saying do so intelligently. But that's how, if you factor in the chance of divorce, average settlement, your time, all the money you piss away, it's practically your entire lifetime. So please be very careful with it.
Yeah, and to that point, we're talking, like you said, in today's dollars, you're probably looking like $350,000 from that 260K number with all the inflation that's gone on recently. If you're stupid about it, then yeah, you're going to pay that. And most guys, I think the average salary in the United States as of like last year was like around $70,000 a year. So you're talking multiple times your yearly income and the cost of being a retard with your dick. Right? You can make that decision. Or, if whatever you want to do, just make sure you're going in with eyes wide open and don't be a fucking retard about it.
Hey, Cappy, did you ever look into the Balkans?
Like to go visit?
Yeah, like to do reconnaissance, to live.
I have so little time. I'm surprised I did the Philippine trip as botched as it was. Maybe I'll do an away game. All this work, inevitably, you want to rest a little bit. So I may go to Croatia. I may check out that, but
I'm going to Georgia, the country, very soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep you posted how it is.
Let me know what you think.
Yeah. All right. I think let's get this. Let me get this super chat real quick. Bobby Trauma, the $2. Great topics, fellas. Yeah. So outside of women, how do you guys think the red pill helps men? Like, so guys that become more assertive, value their time more, start asking more from their employers, or they start realizing their value. And when you realize your value, you make more money. Simple, because like you're okay. employer A is paying me $70K, employer B can pay me $90K for the same job. I'm going to tell employer A, hey, they're offering me this. So are you guys going to match it, or I'm leaving? So that's just an example. You guys can think of any other examples?
Oh, I can think everything. It affects everything. Because you're asking, does truth or pretty lies help more? What happens when you start acknowledging truth and base your decisions in reality? Everything improves. Your diet improves because you don't believe that women just like you for your personality. Your career improves because you're majoring in the right thing and not touchy-feely bullshit. I'm trying to think your sanity, your mental health. I don't know about you guys, but back in the day before the internet, dude, Gen X men were like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden the internet is like, oh yeah, it wasn't you. It was like the system, or there's some structural problems with the society's mentality and our incentives and our motives and our value system. Accepting the truth, it basically says you have a tremendous amount of work you thought you didn't have and an obligation to succeed in this life, but at least now your efforts are not going to go wasted. And that's sanity, I think, that comes with it. Yeah, it may suck. It may be depressing, but at least you know. And you're no longer this confused 13-year-old boy like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? You're like, oh, no, this is exactly what's happening. So the red pill outside of, dating girls, it's truth. Are you getting the factual data? Because I don't know if I want to spend 3 hours fixing something or working on something. I want to make sure it works. I don't want to have it be touchy-feely bullshit. Oprah tells me, you don't have to work on it because you're an Aquarius. We're going to have a government program to fix it for you. No, I want to know for a fact, like, this is going to work. And so once you accept reality and truth, all your decisions are much more effective and practical and productive.
I want to make sure I give a shout out to Chat of Arabia on Substack, our buddy Mish, because he wrote a little bit about what Cappy kind of touched on there a little bit. And this goes to the idea of dread, where basically you learn to not be taken advantage of. And this works in the workplace as well. And I've used this a lot where if you feel like you're not getting what you want out of your current job, then what's stopping you from going to another job and then telling them this is what you want? And then going back to your employer and saying, if you don't give me X, then I'm leaving. Because unfortunately, there's this covert contract that a lot of guys kind of believe in, that when you're working somewhere, if you show up early, you stay late, you're the best guy, you're the most reliable employee, that you'll be rewarded for that. Shocker. Everybody who works anywhere knows this. That's not true. People don't care. As soon as you start giving a little bit, they expect more, and you never get thanked for it. So that being said, to make sure you're not getting taken advantage of, it's always great to make sure that you're that guy at your job, and then you can go anywhere else. Like I always think about my own experience going through college. I didn't fuck around. I didn't party. I made sure I got in, got all the paper to back my name as I physically could, graduated. And that way, any dealership I go into, I could just tell them, hey, here's my resume. And they ask me, what do you want? And I can get pretty much whatever I want. And that's how, when I left my last job to now, I'm making about double what I used to make within the course of about 5 years. So that being said, just make sure all your ducks are in a row in that respect, and don't be ever afraid to basically tell your boss to go pound salt because you have other offers on the table.
Yeah. I also want to say, especially for the young guys, like, avoid schemes and get rich quick stuff. Build competencies. Everyone has a scheme. I do. Everyone has like this little scheme that they want to do. My scheme right now is Substack, Twitter, YouTube. It's my little scheme. It's my little side thing that I do for money, right? Eventually, it may pay me enough where I can just be home and stream with Cappy all day or something, right? Or stream like
That's
Cappy
not
all
my
day, right?
dream. The hell, I'm gonna stream all day with you.
Hey, what if I will invite you to all my streams until, because I want that dream. I want to be home and but in all seriousness, like, focus first. Like, if you're going to be a computer programmer, focus 100% of your energy to being a good computer programmer in your 20s, right? If you're going to be an engineer, if you're going to be a doctor, whatever competency that's useful to society, focus on that 100% first. And then when you feel that confidence in that, hey, how the world really works, you're in a hierarchy where people have told you to fuck off a couple times, you've toughened up. Because look at a lot of these streamers right now. They're clowns. They look dumb. It's like they never had someone tell them no, or any other, fake job.
Like the
right?
one I'm fighting with on Twitter right now.
Yeah, it's just like I my advantage in all this stuff is that I was told I wasn't shit for a very long time in the military until I finally wasn't shit, and they were like, "You're amazing," and I'm like, "That men need that." So focus on that first. That's gonna make you money, and make sure that your skill is useful, right? Like a doctor will always be useful. They're always going to be sick people. A computer programmer always going to be useful because we're more online every day. An engineer always going to be useful. Whatever, it doesn't have to be those things. Like like a mechanic, we're always going to have cars. No, we're not gonna. No, we're not gonna go into some cyberpunk world like Star Wars where we're just gonna have floating things that aren't even cars anymore. We're always gonna need cars or whatever, right? So uh, focus on that first. That's where the money's at, is being useful to people, right? If you, like Jack's a personal trainer, there's always going to be fat people trying to change, right?
Yeah.
Food is good, so be good at that. Cappy,
I
whatever,
have
right?
I have
There's
no
always
real
guys in the
I have
back.
none.
There's always guys in an alleyway that have $20. Well,
Okay, that's the most reliable employment I got. But economist, no. Ballroom dance instructor, no. And then podcasting idiot, no. Those are
Fossil
not reliable.
hunter.
That also
Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah,
Cappy's
no, doesn't pay.
but Cappy as an author is pretty awesome. So that's really where we drew a lot
Also
of
not required. Yeah, no. I'm the most worthless of the three here.
Yeah, look at him. Look at him. Near this man.
Look at that man. Look at the
You know
bang.
what the
I like
worst
the
part
bang.
is? He is the most worthless of us all, yet the most successful. This is how cruel the universe is.
I was gonna,
That's how cruel the
I was
universe
gonna
is.
point that out too, Jack. But I'm glad you pointed that out because
And
yes,
here he sits, the most
it sucks that
useless motherfucker
now
of
I
us
know
all.
what it's like to be a rich liberal white girl with big tits. I have zero real value, but yet I'm the most successful.
Yeah, here he is, quarter Jordanian. It's just because of that.
Well, it's funny because a lot of these young guys, they see like these influencers, like freaking cashing out and living their dream and having expensive stuff. Most of them are broke. Like they have no, they're living on
Facts.
credit, or they're living on a promise
The
of a
bank
deal.
has a lot of nice stuff.
Yeah,
The bank does have a
exactly.
lot
The
of
bank
nice stuff. Yes.
and you guys look behind me, like everything that I have is paid for, or someone else paid for it for me. Like I got a truck, the company paid for it.
I thought you meant your hat.
Drive.
I was like, that yellow hat. I'm glad you paid your $8 for that hat, Nuke. You didn't take out a loan to afford that hat.
Wait, that hat behind me? That,
yeah, the
that
hat.
was
You
paid
said
with a
everything
lot of blood,
behind me
sweat,
I
and tears.
own. I'm like, well, congratulations. You own an $8 hat. That's great.
Well, Cappy, the Navy nuke school, I owned that. That was a $500,000 education, and I got it for free. So
Did the Navy give that to you?
Yeah, it's free.
Oh, that has value then. I thought it was just
exactly. That's what I meant. Like you realize that a lot of people are like, social media is like is very flashy. It's very fake, right? It's like that meme is like, you mean the people will go on the internet and tell lies just like that? I'm like, yeah, most of the internet is full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Even us. Don't even trust us when we say shit. Like verify it against your own life, and open your eyes and use your own eyes and head. Stop letting people decide for you, right? And you'll realize that, yeah, we're kind of right on a lot of things, because we also did the same thing. We opened our eyes and we're just like, wait a minute. You mean if I buy a girl stuff, she won't like me as much because she'll keep asking me for stuff, because that's how girls are? Yeah, that's exactly how they are. So, yeah, just listen. No matter what you think about how much clout you need or whatever, or like these fake schemes online to sell stuff or whatever, right? You going to work and feeling like you're important, like people depend off you, or that you know your shit, will never, and shout out to Mish for this, right? Will never replace any online drama, any amount of followers. You can have millions of followers, but people calling you and saying, hey, thanks, you've solved this problem for me, or your boss saying, good job. I know it's stupid, right? But your boss being afraid to let you go. No one can. And you know who never can replace that either? Women, right? And that's what we're talking about here. Women are great. They have titties. They're fun sometimes, 10% of the time if you're in America, right? But they cannot give you the things that you like get from being an awesome dude in your job, in your field, and all that stuff. So I would say economically, part of being your mental point of origin and being red pilled is noticing your value, knowing how to build your value. And trust me, it's not only the girls. It's most of it's not the girls, right? It's you. It's how awesome you are and what you can provide to others while not sacrificing your dignity. And yeah, that's it.
There's other stuff to do in life than girls.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
There's Lego sets to build and stuff.
Yes. Yes,
Mountains
there's a
to
new
hike.
castle. There's a new Lego castle coming in August.
And we set them off.
Yeah, guitars
Boom.
guitars to restring as well. Yeah. Something
Wait,
like
Cappy,
that.
what toys do you buy? Like, what's your go-to toys that you
Other
buy?
than dildos.
Aside from dildos, they're more experiences. I mean, really, gas to the hiking trail. I mean, it's not exciting. I guess motorcycle riding, but like physical toys, I don't.
Like,
No,
is there a toy when you were younger, except for the
ATVs,
pinball machine? Except for the pinball machine, which I know you have.
yeah.
Is there a toy that you've always wanted and now could get? Where you're
The
like,
closest I got to that, and you guys are gonna give me shit because this is nerdy. I bought it. It was a wheat penny, a 1909 SVDBS Victor D. Brenner wheat penny. It's the one wheat penny you didn't have in your collection.
you can just tell me you're boring.
I told you this was not going to be. It's not a toy. It was the thing I didn't have, and so I bought it. The video game arcades, but I bought one long ago, and then I got a table Pac-Man Recreate, which is relatively cheap, to like $600. But aside from that, no. Not
a giant Lego set you would love to have, or
maybe the Voltron, the metal Voltron with the moving parts, and it disassembled into the lions. I can't. I don't know. It really is more go outside and play and gas for road trips. That's really what I do. But yeah, I'm trying to think of a. No, if I wanted it, I got it, but I never really wanted that. I just wanted to never fucking go to school again, which is the equivalent to never going to work and dealing with a boss or a teacher again. And I have that. And that's more important than any physical thing that I could.
That's what I meant. It's like the least useful and the most successful. It's like, God damn it, he did it. He did it. He escaped. Like
He's
Andrew
a role
Tate,
model now. He's our role
but
model.
it's like Andrew Tate always says, like, "Oh, escape the Matrix." Here he is in a Ford hat and an ugly blue sweater.
Don't look. Yeah, it's Goodwill clothes
and on a DHS watch list. That's why you're on a DHS watch list, Cappy, is because you're just so.
He escaped.
Free, damn it! Like, he's too free.
In this respect, what Cappy's been saying the entire show really is kind of like, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but like dumb, boring stuff. Like, oh no, invest smartly. Don't buy flashy shit. I buy Goodwill clothes. Like, none of this is like sexy. Oh, what color is your Bugatti bullshit? It's like, no. Do the stuff that works. It's the same thing in lifting. Do the stuff that works. It's the same thing with health and fitness. Do the stuff that works. When you see flashy stuff, when you see people making hyperbolic claims that this is going to absolutely revolutionize everything, it's probably bullshit. The vast majority of the time, anybody that's trying to tell you that you're just one step away from something, they're probably trying to get you in.
Yeah, like one tweak and you're gonna be rich or something. I'm like, no, dude. Like, like the AI stuff. Like, everyone was like, this is gonna change everything. I'm like, it just made Google searches easier. Like, now I don't have to search on the internet as much for finding information. Cool.
This is somewhat relevant to the AI conversation as well, but back probably almost, I would say probably like 7 or 8 years ago, I remember we got an autonomous Cadillac in at the shop that I worked at the time, and it just made me laugh because every single fucking panel on this vehicle was dented, scratched, tore up. And once again, we're supposed to believe that like this is the way of the future. I work right off like a main highway for my job, and they still do not have like the Super Cruise, which the autonomous driving for Cadillacs. They still don't have it mapped on this highway. So anybody that thinks that like Skynet and AI apocalypse is coming tomorrow, it's not. It's going to be a slow progression, even if it does get like all the way to some dystopian future, which AI is kind of freaky how good it is. It's still far ways away, and they're never going to take the responsibility away from people and put it solely on AI, because you can't pin down blame if AI fails, right? Like, what do? Sue the company? Well, the government will largely bail them out if something like that happens. So you're still going to have to be useful in the future, regardless of how good AI, autonomous vehicles, or any of these things get.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've kind of put the point across about how the red pill improves your finances. Final thoughts, I guess, and what you got cooking, and then we'll head out of here so Cappy can go be free, freer than all of us
Choose
combined.
there. That's my
Yeah.
final. Choose freedom. That's
Choose
it.
freedom.
Choose freedom. The girls, if they like you, will come along. You have to go become something. But for the love of God, do not choose materialism. And I'm going to be popular, and I'm going to get the girls, and I'm going to. No. Go be yourself, achieve whatever excellence it is, get your shit together, get a job, be free. Ask out girls in a effective and cheap order, defend your time, and you should be able to get the girlsa, but without the atrociously unacceptable price tag men have been paying in the past. You should be able to get away with it relatively scot-free. That'd be my only conclusion. And then the only thing I got is the new book out called Zero World Problems, which talks about a lot of the shit we're talking about here on things that you should be focusing on to enjoy a standard of living above first world problems. That's what it talks about, zero world problems. And if you go through the shit, would you too like to wear Goodwill clothes and go hiking whenever you want and have $1,000 wheat penny because it has a certain mint mark on it? You can by buying Zero World Problems, where it basically tells you these are the things you should be focusing on in terms of economic goals, which is not a fucking Ferrari, a cool condo downtown, and a nightclub baller lifestyle. So there you go. It's a very practical book.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I have it behind me. I haven't started yet, but I think I'm going to start it today. I'm going to go to the coffee shop.
I even
relax.
give you a shout out in it. That's
the main reason for. No, I'm just kidding. I read all your book. I read. I was on a road trip from Virginia to Texas, and that was when I was reading or listening to Bachelor Pad Economics with my dad. And my dad now is a fan of yours, Cappy. So
really, old man
Yeah.
old man Nuke is a fan of mine, huh?
yeah.
Oh boy.
And I told him, "Hey, Dad, remember that guy we were listening to?" He's like, "Yeah, that's smart economics." Because my dad loves he's pretty pissed now about the stock market, but he loves economics. And he said, "I told, hey, Dad, that guy shouted me out in his book." And he's like, "Stop playing." And I'm like, "I'll let you know when I read
Does
it."
he know you and I are friends?
He's seen us. I showed him a stream of us together.
Your dad knows you stream?
Yeah, he knows.
Nice.
But he only brought it up once. But the rest of the time we talk about actually father son stuff. Don't talk about Red Pill with your dad. Talk about important things.
I was like, I
Yeah.
tried to explain my dad, like, hey, I got new personal training clients online. He's like, what about your factory job? It's like, really?
Yeah,
And this was a couple of years.
They're boomers, guys.
Oh,
They're
my
boomers.
dad
Come
is an
on,
ultra boomer, and I've just given up. If I tell him, like, hey, I'm friends with like world-renowned authors and shit like that, and I've had people hate me online, he'd be like, but that's not a real job. It's like, you know what? Never mind. I'm off to Georgia. Goodbye.
I love you, Mom. I'll see you later, Dad. Give him a hug, shake his hand. There you go. That's it.
Goodbye.
Yeah, don't talk about this stuff. Hey, Sean, are you in Dallas? Let me know if you're in Dallas. Anyways,
one thing though, like, don't speak red pill stuff about your dad. My dad once talked it with me. He was pretty based about that. He's like, we were watching TV or something, and there were allegations again because some celebrity, you so-called, touched a girl 15 years ago. He's like, you know what, kid? This is fucking bullshit. You know why? A girl could walk past my window, point at me, and tell the police that I touched her. They won't ask me if I did it. They won't for evidence if I did it, and they won't even check if I did it. They will say I'm guilty and I'm fucked for life. That's the world we live in. I'm like, oh, that's pretty based, old man. Oh, good. It's a good job for you. It's like, okay, makes sense. Did you get the last two super chats by Alex Patino?
Is Alex in the house?
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, let me get these two super chats real quick. Alex Patino, engáñame, miénteme, pero no me dejes. I had a girl always saying that. I still feel retarded. All right, and then we got another one with $5. Hey, Cappy, I finished listening to your book, and I'm on chapter 4. I'm almost disappointed you didn't give me a shout out. Cappy.
How did I screw that up? What's chapter 4? Oh, chapter 4 is gay Latinos that I don't want to meet. I should have mentioned Alex Patino in that.
Oh, shit.
Now, hang on. What is chapter 4? Freedom. What? Where? I mean, I guess there was a place to put him in there. Yeah, Alex, shoot me an email. I'm kind of wondering where he thought he should have been injected.
I mean, the only time he ever mentioned me was in like the recognition saying I should stop having gay sex with Rob. So, you know,
my dedications are awesome.
Yeah, it was a dedication to me and Vince and Rob. May our love be eternal.
I think Cappy enjoys being glazed by his fellow Rule Zero members, but we're gonna get back at you, Cappy. This next week, we're gonna make so many memes.
Okay, I'm hosting next week, and it's gonna be about height. And Nuke and I will just tower over everybody and be like, "Oh, what's it feel like being 6 foot?" No, me too. I mean, Cappy's 5'4".
That's short for a Bumble girl, a girl that's on Bumble trying to find her Prince Charming, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's short get it all. Hey, like what was it? Rorschach. I'm not stuck in here with you. You're all stuck in here with me. I go. Let's go.
Yeah.
If you taught me one thing about truth, it was capitalize on all the jokes. Capitalize on all of them.
Yeah. All right. Jack, what you got going on?
Yeah. New essay this morning was released, and oh my god, I'm glazing Cappy again. It was inspired by my conversations with Cappy about having kids or not, because we found out that even though we don't want kids, we turned out to be the best parents ever alive. So yeah, please go check that out. It's the case against children for children. I would very much appreciate it if you read that and give me your opinion on it. And you know what? Follow me on Twitter at Jack Napier. I'm rebuilding the whole thing. So if you like my snarky takes, please follow me there. And that's about it.
All right, awesome. And the links are in the chat, guys. Kyle, what you got going on? Last thoughts on what you got going?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you hosting today, Nuke. This was a fun topic, and yeah, guys, just really build your own world, focus on yourself, and then obviously chase women at the same time, but don't do either to the exclusion of one or the other. But yeah, Common Crown, we started recording new music last week, so that's going to be out hopefully before the end of the year, but lots of time between here and there. A couple more shows. We'll be playing with Hinder again in September, so that's going to be pretty cool. Big old bike rally at the Raindrop Inn if you're in the southwestern Pennsylvania area. I have Cameron McGregor coming on tomorrow, and we'll be doing Post Zero as well. So lots to do tomorrow, and I think that's about it for me.
All right, awesome. Yeah,
Luke, what do you got going on?
I got Substack. I'm at 54 articles or posts written, right, trucking along. When I get to 100, I'll roll it into a book. I was trying to write faster, but I realized if I write faster, it just doesn't, it doesn't hit the same. So I'll do every 2 or 3 days. I'll write something and give you guys better quality. I have a Discord now. If you guys want to join it, I'm on the internet half the day. So if you guys ever want to join it, have a video chat, talk about anything, and want to clear up some doubts about, maybe a outside perspective that's not your family and friends on women or life in general, you guys are welcome to join it and all that stuff. Other than that, guys, this is a great topic. It's really like we're so focused on women, right? But in general, like your sacrifice, your money, your time is incredibly important. Everyone wants it. That's how important it is. Everyone wants it for themselves. And the Red Pill teaches you to put yourself first above everything, because you're not just a workhorse, right? You are a human being, a man. You have feelings, emotions. You get hungry, you get horny, you get sad, you get happy. People forget that, right? Don't ever let society or women or anyone on the internet make you forget that you're a man with needs, but at the same time, you're responsible for taking care of them. So that's all I got, guys. And you guys, Cappy, take us out.
Toodles.